We are live for tonight's NASCAR 08 coverage on the channel. Daytona International Speedway, day number 2 of our Speed Weeks edition of NASCAR 08 on the channel. Last night we ran the Craftsman Truck Series race, running as Mike Skinner for that 25 race season. And today we will be driving as Martin Truex Jr., trying to get him his 3rd career NASCAR, what is now Xfinity Series, but at this time Busch Series Championship. He did win the title in 2004, he won the title again in 2005, and then became a rookie full-time in the NASCAR Cup Series for 2006. But he's going to be back for the 2007 season in the 11 car with DEI for this very season. So we'll see how this is going to play out. I do think it's going to be more competitive than what the truck race was yesterday, because I actually got passed by somebody in practice. I didn't get past the whole truck race. We started 13th, but they were slow out of the gate, and we were able to pass everybody from 13th to 1st by the time we got into the first turn. Today I qualified 17th, a little bit further back than that, though I do think the field is going to be slow getting up to speed on both leaving pit road as well as getting up to speed on restarts, because I did pass cars pretty quickly when getting up to speed, at least leaving the pits, after doing a practice pit stop in the practice session itself. So we'll see what we can do. I don't think anybody's ever won 3 career Xfinity Series championships. I meant to look on Wikipedia and/or Racing Reference to see if anybody has ever won 3. I don't think anybody has won 3. There's quite a few that have won 2, quite a few that have won back-to-back like Truex has done, but we're going to try to get Martin Truex Jr. his 3rd career title. And this is going to be his 3rd career win at Daytona if we can get the win tonight as well, because he did have 2 career Busch Series wins here, although he has not won on a super speedway in his Cup career. And it's kind of cool that we're running as Truex, because he just retired from full-time Cup competition last year, so awesome that he ended up winning the fan vote. You can still vote for who you think I'm going to drive as for the Cup Series, or who you want me to drive as for the Cup Series season. There are polls open in the community tab right now. And as far as that goes, it is the 2nd round. We did round 1 yesterday. Round number 2 is today. The final round for the Cup Series will be tomorrow, leading into our Daytona 500 stream, which will be at 5:30 p.m. Eastern. So let's get this underway. Maybe. Okay, jeez, I thought the game crashed on me there for a second. That was long. 19th place position we're starting in, not 17th. I apologize for that. Green flag is in the air, and I do believe John Wood and the 47 car is on the pole. Field definitely slow getting up to speed, but not as slow as they were yesterday at Daytona. So already a little bit more competitive for Truex out of the gate. Down on the bottom, making some 3 wide passes. 4 positions gained on the opening lap. So we try to settle ourselves in as quickly as we can. Looking to the bottom, getting by Sam Hornish Jr., 101 car as well for 13th. 6 positions gained on lap 1 here for Truex as he's all clear up turn 4. Caution free in the truck race yesterday, so we have not seen a caution in this game yet. 43 cars make up this field, as we will see all season long. I did see that the grading system for the Busch Series with Truex, B+ equipment at every single style of racetrack. So every discipline of racing we will be at a B+ car. It's not quite top tier equipment here with DEI. Although he did win a couple of championships in the 8 car. This is going to be the number 11 this time around. Wade, Billy Kramer, Jackson Robinson, Ethan Chua. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. A couple minutes early to the stream, I want to make sure I was going to get done before Monday Night Raw tonight, because it's a big one for any wrestling fans out there getting ready to watch that. Not that far off this pack of cars just in front of us. I do believe the 1 is now out in front. That would be J.J. Yaley. Or John Wood had led the first lap of the race. Yaley leads lap 2. These cars are definitely still slower than what the Cup cars are going to be in the Daytona 500 and dual races tomorrow. But the speeds are up from where the Truck Series was quite significantly. We barely saw speeds crack over 175 miles per hour in the draft. We're up over 180 easily here in this one. 185 miles an hour entering turn 3 that time for Truex. He tries to reel in the car in front of him. I still got to get used to all these paint schemes, so I might have a bad judgment as to who everybody is around us at the moment. But we do have a leaderboard, obviously scrolling top of the screen. And that will be the case throughout. Led 95 of 100 laps yesterday with Mike Skinner in the truck race after starting 13th. But here today, again, a more competitive race. We are in 13th, up 6 positions from the start. Second and a half off the lead. We're just kind of fluctuating back and forth right now. I get a run in the draft, but I haven't had enough of a run to try to make a pass on anybody yet. Looking to the outside. Big run coming here for Truex. I don't know that I want to make any passes up here, but I do have Netflix. I didn't before, but I do now. I literally signed up today. It's amazing how quick we just fell back right there. We had a massive run in 3 and 4. Lost a bunch of ground. I'm having to catch right back up again. A little bit of a pull this time. Going to make the move to the inside of the track, entering turns 3 and 4. Sam Hornish Jr. in the 12 car going with us. I was kind of low-key hoping that Sam Hornish Jr. was going to be the driver I could race as. I love that mobile Penske scheme that he's got in this Busch series. It reminds me of the Jeremy Mayfield years from the late 90s, early 2000s. Three wide back behind us. It'll be interesting to see what the tire wear is going to look like in this race, because yesterday in the truck race we had quite a bit of tire wear and had to make 4 tire stops during both of the pit stops that we had to make for fuel purposes throughout the course of the race. So back and forth, it looks like John Wood and J.J. Yaley have been trading the lead a couple of times already. We had 8 lead changes. Or sorry, I don't know why I said 8. We had 4 lead changes, I believe, yesterday at Daytona with 5 different leaders. Oh, you know what? I think we did have 8 lead changes now that I'm thinking about it. Because obviously we lost the lead a couple of times during green flag stops. Those were the only laps I didn't lead. But we had 4 drivers lead at least 1 lap in the race. Within 2 seconds off the lead. Top 3 or 4 cars have pulled away. Catching up to the second group, though. What's different in this game and what I'm feeling now and what I had in practice when I was around a few cars as well, it's very easy for the run to stall out, but I also can't be the lead car in the older EA games, 07 and prior. I feel like I have a hard time leading a pack. Here, I feel like I can actually lead a pack. As long as I have a car behind me giving me a good enough of a push, I can still keep the speed up. So that's different from the earlier EA games prior to NASCAR 08 that I can tell, at Daytona at least. Matthew Perini, thanks for tuning in. And try to get behind this guy right in front of us. 107 car, fantasy driver. Now we're going to go to the bottom. Oh, we got trouble. Car up against the wall, upside down, slides down the track, gets hit hard, and tumbles down towards the infield. Caution's out, and the big one is out here at Daytona. Who was it? It looks like it was J.J. Yaley. He was running in 4th at the tail end of the 4-car group at the front of the field. Looks like the replays are longer here too. I don't know if he caught too much of the apron, but he got hit hard. And what we saw out of the rearview mirror but aren't going to see on the replay is we had a ton of cars that were stacked up in turns 1 and 2. I mean, that took out almost half the field, if not more than half. We were one of the last cars to make it through. And I'm staying out of the pits here, but we are probably going to see a lengthy set of cautions coming up for debris because there were so many cars that got collected. Might be able to take advantage on the restarts at the front of the field as well. That was a violent crash for our first one on NASCAR 08. Took over a full race, but here we are. And I'm sure that will not be the last. Like I said, I definitely think there's going to be some debris yellows. Truex going to get by 3 cars on this single file restart as he hops in front of his teammate Paul Menard for 8th. First time he's cracked the top 10 here tonight. Now if we can catch a quick caution and then get a few more. Another quick caution, catch a few more. Might be the easiest way for us to try to get through this field, honestly. That was a hard hit. I hope everybody else was looking out of the rear view or the look back cam and seeing just all those cars piled up. There might have been multiple cars that were upside down by the time that there was more carnage, but we definitely know Yaley ended up flipping a couple times down on the apron after he had gotten hit. It was a violent crash less than 10 laps into the race. I noticed a trail of smoke pretty early, so I was able to get down to the bottom, which I was already in the bottom, the racetrack in the middle of 1 and 2. Didn't have to really do much for the wreck avoidance side of things. There should still be debris in this game, I would imagine. I mean, there has to be all sorts of cars tore up. It's going to take some speed out of quite a few drivers as well. Riding around in 8th with the top 7 out in front. Looks like Greg Biffle, I believe, is leading now in the 16. I thought what the Lions were able to do offensively last night, that Minnesota was also going to do the same, and it was going to be kind of a back-and-forth game. But yeah, Lions defense stepped up, and I don't think anybody was expecting that. Maybe even the Lions included. Detroit's 2 wins away from the Super Bowl. They'll be playing at home every playoff game. Won't have to play this week. Team's been banged up for a little bit now, having that early bye this season, so they definitely need a bye week. It's going to help them. There's no way going into the game you thought it'd be a blowout. That's called being too much of a homer for your home team. Logically, I don't think anybody could have expected that. Tight squeeze, 3 wide, going to try to get them both. Menard staying with his teammate Truex. Almost got by the 3M car, which I believe was Biffle. 119, still right there. Just ran out of steam too quickly. Truex is going for 7th now. You just don't get as much of a pull drafting behind somebody when you're tight nose to nose and kind of bump drafting them. It's definitely different from the earlier NASCAR EA games that we've played. You can get a big pull in the draft when you're behind somebody, but the minute you get like right there, you guys don't really go anywhere with 2 cars, and it's hard to actually get to their bumper. Team didn't make the playoffs, that's tough. Go Eagles away. Come on, man. I don't think the Packers are going to beat them. I've said it before, though. I didn't think they'd beat Dallas week 1 in Jerry's World last year when it came to the playoffs in the wild card round, so you never know. 3 wide right in front of us. It's going to slow this lead pack down towards the tail end of it. Truex able to pull up in line on the back straightaway. I couldn't tell if they just lost momentum or if they checked up thinking I was going to go all the way in front. There was no contact, so that's good. It's definitely a late dive. I think the thing I'm most bummed out about with the Packers game this week, I'm not even going to be able to watch most of it. No, there's no chance I'm going to be home before the end of the game. Game starts at 4:30, but the Red Wings game I'm going to on Sunday next week starts at 3. I'll be watching the game during intermissions on my phone. I'll probably get through first intermission or the Packers game wouldn't have started yet. Big bump draft, and look at how far it just launched that car going into turn 3. I pushed him too far away from me. Yeah, that just doesn't work. Not in this game. You can't stay locked onto him. You give him just that one quick push, and away they go. Halfway out of gas. Nobody has pitted yet in the race. We have had 1 caution. Surprised we haven't had a debris yellow. We last restarted at lap 12. Lions are Super Bowl favorites. Are they actually the Super Bowl favorites, or are the Chiefs still the Super Bowl favorites? Like, the Lions are my personal favorites for the Super Bowl, but... Oh boy, low contact. Right in the middle of the tri-oval. Pass made for 6th. Right rear's finally starting to wear out just a little bit. A late move to go to the bottom into turn 3. I should have timed that out a little earlier. Run got stalled out right behind this guy. Lane open on the top for the 6th car to try to make a pass now as well. So Truex leads the bottom, and Paul Menard's been with him every step of the way. So these 2 DEI teammates are working well together. Can't tell who this is just in front of us. I think it might be Wood in the 47. Thought about going down to block. Truex is there. Contact is made. Getting into the first turn. That one wasn't my fault that time. It's a late block attempt. And just like that, Truex has broken into the top 5. First time in the race, 22 laps in, after starting 19th. John Fleming, thanks for tuning in. What do I think of NASCAR 08 compared to 07? I don't really know what to think right now, honestly. I think the super speedway racing with the Busch series is definitely a lot better than the truck. The truck series, that race yesterday, that was so broken in a way in which we won in dominating fashion with single car speed alone. It didn't really make any sense. The whole field was broken up the whole race. There's a little bit more pack racing here in this Busch race. Obviously, we've got a line of about 7-8 cars behind us, a group of 4 just up ahead that we're trying to close in on. So this is definitely more competitive than what the truck race was, so I do like this more. The cars are planted way better than they are in 07, but not in a way where you're overly dominant in 07 like we are in 08, if that makes sense. Like the lower series, I feel like I was less dominant than the Cup Series. And the truck race at Daytona yesterday unanimously had the best car. That's what if says it's broken. I mean, it's definitely broken. At least the truck series. There's a little bit of brokenness in this Busch race, but it's not bad. At least I'm not having a bad experience with it up to this point. We're actually racing. Although I don't feel like there's a lot I can do. If that makes sense. You know, if I have the run, I have the run, and if I don't, I don't. It is hard to make passes. The runs stall out very easy. It's a lot easier to block in this game than the earlier EA games. I feel like I have a lot of control of my race car. And that could just be Daytona. And my setup here is fine with it being a super speedway. I'm curious to see what other tracks look like. So I'll have a better gauge of my overall opinion of this game once we get into not only every series, because I haven't ran Cup yet. I haven't even touched it. But also the fact that we haven't ran any other track other than Daytona. I get to every style of racetrack. You know, we get to a mile and a half, we get to a short track, a road course, and I have my full opinion by middle of the season. But, you know, right now I don't really have much for you just because this is all we've had so far. Michael Turner, yeah, 4-tire stops, definitely going to have to be the case. Whoa! Olu's getting off into turn 1. That was me steering so hard to try to keep it off the 47 of John Wood, who had just a massive run on the outside. Didn't make contact with him. Got a good push from behind by Jeremy Mayfield. While Menard stayed on the bottom with Truex the entire time. Field's starting to double up in front of us as well. And now we're really going to start to get bunched together here in these top 8 or so positions. Truex right... Who is this? 21 car. Down on the bottom right in front of us. Another move to the outside. John Wood already there. Quick little side draft pull off of him. About a half a second off the lead at the stripe. It's going to be interesting as to how far we can go on fuel. Probably looking at this being a 3-stop race. I doubt we can go 40 laps to make it on 2 stops. A run to the outside on Biffle in the 16. 59 of Ambrose moves up now. And nowhere to go for Truex. And Biffle escapes to the bottom of the racetrack, and he makes a pass for 3rd on Ambrose. Big run there. Oh, made a pass for 4th. Couldn't stay with the top 3, though. It's 2:16s. Yeah, there's a couple of different numbers that are ran by 2 drivers. We saw that last game as well in NASCAR 7. There was 2 39s, 2 8s, 2 9s, I think. Borsett and Mayfield. There was 2 16s. Biffle's one of them. See, my laptop is blocking out exactly who the share draft is. Going on. That'll open the door up for 3rd. Yeah, Biffle is the car in front of me. Todd Kluver is the one behind us already. He would be the other driver in the 16, so you got Kluver and Biffle. Kluver would have been in the 06. Cleaver. Todd Cleaver was in the 06 and NASCAR 07. Close enough to the back of the 16 of Biffle to try to get a run here. He's also close enough to the leader, and he's getting a run of his own. Is Biffle going to pull out a line? He does not. Going for second is Mark Truex Jr. in the 11. You got Boris. Not Boris said. Marcus Ambrose. Trying to remember these guys on the fly. There's a lot of car number changes, especially in the Busch series. Way more in the Busch series than the other series. So up to second for the first time in the race. Nowhere to go for Truex as he goes high, goes low, trying to block the cars behind him while still trying to maintain momentum and get a run at Ambrose for the lead. Ambrose has led quite a bit already. Somebody's down on pit road currently. Car well off the pace further back as well. Truex on the outside lane, going to look for the lead, entering turn 3 on Ambrose side by side. Ambrose all over that yellow line on the bottom of the racetrack. And now the 12 of Sam Hornish Jr. up high. A couple of road course ringers up here at the front of the field between Ambrose and Hornish. Hornish a rookie. Ambrose, I believe, technically be a rookie as well, even though he doesn't have the rookie stripes on his car. Hornish's car does have them, so I don't know what's going on there. A little contact with Hornish. He's going to back him up just a bit. Man, that did not take much for him to get a little loose. Truex with a run, trying to look to the bottom. But Ambrose is blocking. Nothing doing there for Truex yet again. Man, Hornish really fell back along with a few cars behind him who had to check up to keep from running into the back of his car. Ambrose on the block high. Truex is there. Barely. Not enough. I just can't get around him right now. It's 59 car strong. Bottom lane open. Trying to stand the draft on the top. Biffle looks like he's going to get his spot back, and he does. Truex with the run. On Biffle, Ambrose. Staying to the bottom. Might be pitting this time. I think there's definitely a chance that these top two will pit, which means Truex will have his first lead of the race. Yep, there we go. So Truex is going to be out in front. His teammate Paul Menard stays with him. Our fuel light is flashing, so we're not going to be able to go much further on fuel. We were able to go 34 laps yesterday in the truck series, so I don't think I want to go a lap further than that here today, just to be safe. So we got our 5 bonus points for leading our first lap, albeit during green flag pit stops, but 5 bonus points is 5 bonus points, so now Truex will hit pit road for his 4-tire stop this time by. And the hope is that we can cycle out ahead. I am sincerely shocked that we did not get any cautions at all for debris. We had a crash that looked like it took about half the field with it when Yaley flipped from 4th place on lap 8. Gonna try to be more aggressive entering pit road today than what I was yesterday. Yeah, a lot more aggressive there. No adjustments, 4 tires and a full tank of gas. Black dots on the track map. I haven't really looked at the track map much. I don't know. I'll have to look at that again, honestly. I'm not sure what all the indicators are up there. Go to the ram deck. I don't think I'm going to do that. I don't know where that's going to be in comparison to where my seats are. Truex might be the leader and everything cycles through. He scored in second for right now, but it looks like J.J. Yaley in the 1 car who had flipped earlier is still out on the racetrack. And there's a chance J.J. Yaley pitted after flipping. I would like to think he did. In doing so, he may have topped off on fuel, and it's going to be a while before Yaley ends up pitting then, and eventually would give up his lead. Truck's qualified 17th, so on single car speed, it'll be interesting to see where he is going to be. Yeah, I know it's on the concourse. I just don't know where exactly it's going to be compared to where my seats are. It's a pretty big arena. To walk the perimeter of it around the seating. Man, that car's slow getting up to speed. Damage to the front and the back of it, too. But it is a lapper. Feel very spaced apart here tonight at Daytona. So we try to go for a third career win at Daytona for Martin Truex Jr. in the NASCAR Busch Series, and we try to go for a third career championship for Truex as well for this 2007 season, which is when this game came out for NASCAR 08. Mythic Gamer, thanks for tuning in. NASCAR 8, running order scroll so good. Yeah, I wish modern NASCAR games had that. I hope iRacing is able to do it, because I think they have something like that, or similar to it for the World of Outlaw games. Granted, they kind of had that for the World of Outlaw game back in, what year was it, 2010, 2011, somewhere around there when it came out for the PS3. I remember having that game. So we are quicker than J.J. Yaley. We were about 37 seconds off the lead when we first cycled off pit road. Now we're 34. There is a chance that Yaley actually might make this race on 2 more stops. So he pitted during the caution flag back at lap, 9? Lap 10? We restarted at lap 12, so I'd imagine 3 laps under caution like the earlier EA games. So we would have been lap 9 when the first yellow came out. He was the only one that pitted. Everybody else stayed out of who's in this race. We're so far ahead of the rest of the field. That's the glitch I probably don't like the most on this game, is the fact that the AI take way longer getting up to speed than us. It's not as egregious as it was in the truck race yesterday, but it's still pretty bad in this Busch race tonight as well. I'm curious if it's going to be the case for the Daytona 500, because if we don't get a lot of cautions in these races on the super speedways, or at least here, I mean, Talladega could be different. It could be an advantage everywhere we go in races that don't have a lot of cautions. Castroneves in the Daytona 500. Yep. Yeah, we talked about that yesterday. Got Castroneves in there. Mike Wallace is going to be in there. Nothing has been officially announced, at least for Castroneves, but it is looking as if he is going to be in the Daytona 500 field. 21 is Kevin Harvick. Yes, he is back in the 21 car in this game. Unfortunately, it's not the Reese's car like he had back in NASCAR 05. That's one of my favorite paint schemes of Busch Series era in general. I don't care what era you go to. I think NASCAR Busch Series, I think of Dale Jr. Oreo car, and I think of the Reese's car for Kevin Harvick. That's what I think of when I think of NASCAR Busch Series. I also think, because of being a Greg Biffle fan growing up, that Charter number 60 car that him and Edwards had won races in, I think of that car too. That's what reminds me of the Busch Series the most. Honestly, this Bass Pro Shops car with Truex, not this one particularly with the 11, but the number 8 where he won the back-to-back titles in, I also think of that as well. Comment in the chat below your favorite Busch Series scheme of all time. I'm talking under the Busch Series banner specifically. Obviously, it's now known as the Xfinity Series, so I'm not asking for Xfinity Series. I'm asking for your favorite Busch Series scheme. So, could be around this time period. It could have been more in the 80s, 90s, under the Busch Grand National banner. Not the new Outlaw game. Well, that kind of stinks. Hopefully, we have something. Yeah, this scrolling leaderboard, honestly, how have we not had this in a NASCAR game since 08 or 09? Although I haven't played the Technics games, but I have seen more gameplay from those over the years than what I did for NASCAR 08 and NASCAR 09, so you have to let me know if maybe there's a scrolling leaderboard there also. But I definitely know there's one in 08 and 09. And apparently it was only for like the older consoles, PS2 and the original Xbox. I guess they didn't have that for the PS3 and 360 for some reason. Still barely closing in on Yaley. If he wins this race because he pitted when he flipped, that's the exact reason why when I crash, I don't end up hitting pit road for fuel or tires. So you don't get the unfair advantage. Because even if he doesn't win the race, he's probably going to end up leading the most laps because of this. If it stayed green to the end, obviously, which we have a long way to go. We did have a caution already. The big one struck at lap 9. Yaley caused it. Spun up against the wall, turns 1 and 2. Ended up on his side, got hit in the rear by oncoming traffic, and it just stacked the whole field up from about mid-pack on back. Luckily, at the time, we were racing just outside the top 10, and I was able to escape to the bottom of the track pretty easily for the most part, just stayed in the gas. He was sliding down the banking, but he was well high enough that it wasn't too close, staying on the bottom groove. In time for that pass to be made. So J.J. Yaley's now down on pit road. It'll be lap 44 when he cycles out. And easily Truex is going to be the leader. WNF7, thanks for tuning in. Seriously love the old EA games. Try to get to the rest of your comment when I get to a straightaway. Anytime you get the chance to see someone play them, no matter which one it is, stop and watch it. Thank you, man. Yeah, hey, appreciate you tuning in. Oh, wow. Couple of cars are coming up fast. And out of nowhere, as we're going to have a battle for the lead all of a sudden here in turns 1 and 2. Truex, Paul Menard, one of the 16 cars. It's either Cleaver or Biffle. I would imagine it's Biffle, but Cleaver was in the top 5 earlier too. And it's Martin Truex Jr. trying to fend him off here at lap 44. And here comes several other cars as well. I swear I looked at the track map and it looked like I had a decent gap on him about a lap and a half ago. And now we look up and all of a sudden we're pack racing again here at Daytona, and that did not take very long. Into the outside looking for the lead. There's contact there. And a piece of the wall got scraped there by Biffle as well in the outside lane. I did him dirty. I kind of shoved up the racetrack a little bit as I was trying to make a side drafting move and about wrecked the whole damn field. Luckily, he only lost 1 position. DEI 1-2 at the front here. You got Menard and Truex. These two have been nose to tail for a large portion of this race. Really, ever since that first and only restart we had. Solomon Lee, thanks for tuning in. David Green's 37 car. That's a classic one for sure, too. 21 U.S. Coast Guard scheme. That's a good one. I really like that. Yeah, Harvick had that. Jeff Burton ran that 21 car at times, too. That's a really good one also. Look at how big this pack is starting to be here. 2 by 2, and this is the pack racing. We're seeing it at the forefront with these Gen 4 cars. And we'll be seeing it again tomorrow in the Daytona 500. We'll be running the duel and the 500 in the same stream, and we'll start that at 5:30 p.m. Eastern. Earlier start time because I have to do the duel before the 500. And no matter where we qualify, we will run the duel, even if I qualify in the front row. Trying to start Speed Week 2 for 2. Dominated performance from Skinner yesterday in the Truck Series, getting the win. Not as top-tier equipment with the Busch Series, at least with being Truex for this season. Our final round of voting for the Cup Series polls will be in the community tab first thing tomorrow morning. Well, maybe not first thing. I have to work tomorrow, so it might not be till 9 a.m. I'll be able to get those up in the community tab. But those are up right now. They'll stay up all the way into the night. that you can vote for today's polls. It's the second round. I think we've narrowed it down to 10 drivers for who I'm going to race as for the upcoming 08 Cup Series season. Carl Edwards, number 60, Henkel, 2006, your second favorite. Now, those are some good ones. I do like that U.S. Coast Guard scheme, though. So a couple of big blocks by Truex at the start of the runs that we started to see from this pack, but now that we're up to speed in the draft a little more, the runs are a lot easier to block. We had that big gap and that big lead, and they closed quickly all of a sudden. I'm still shocked we haven't had a debris caution. There had to have been so much debris just laying in the racetrack under the yellow. Maybe that's why we didn't get a debris caution after that first crash. I mean, we had a ton of cars that were piled into that. I mean, the track was blocked. Luckily, it was in our rear view, and we didn't have to drive into that, because otherwise we'd have a lot of damage and probably wouldn't have the same speed we still have in the car. Yeah, the AmeriQuest scheme was pretty good for Biffle. He had a similar scheme in the Cup Series at times, too. It doesn't really rank on my top Greg Biffle schemes of all time, though. 3M was big because he had that for a pretty good chunk of his Cup career. Probably longer than any other primary sponsor, honestly. Throughout his Cup mainstay. That National Guard car will forever be my favorite. Casey Mears had a similar paint scheme in the 25 also at Hendrick Motorsports with the National Guard car, but that rendition of the National Guard schemes is probably one of my favorite schemes of all time. It's a shame I don't have a die cast of it yet. I've seen the Casey Mears version of it at races I've gone to, but I want to get a Greg Biffle version. I just haven't found it yet. Obviously, with Biffle being my favorite driver, that's the one I definitely want. My original favorite driver. In my youth years. A couple of Roush cars behind us, splitting the DEI cars apart. David Reagan in the 6 is right behind Biffle. Ambrose has fallen to 5th, and then Kluver's still up here in 6th. Casey Mears, speaking of which, 7th. John Wood. Mike Wallace, Juan Pablo Montoya. That's our top 10, so no fantasy drivers in the top 10 on the leaderboard. Was a pretty big pack of cars. All of a sudden, now it's strung out again. For at least a little bit. Wall scrape for the first time today, right off turn 4. Let it feed to the wall, maybe a little too wide that time. Ah, I did it again. 2 laps in a row. 2 corners in a row. Halfway out of gas, so we're halfway through the race. Already. I will say the race feels like it's flying by a lot better today than what it was yesterday. Oh, no, that's a 5, isn't it? It's hard to tell on my screen, honestly. Is that a 5 or a 6 up there? I really can't tell. Quickest lap of the race is 48.255. I really can't tell if that's a 5 or a 6. It's graphics, man. Honestly, I think the number graphics are worse on this game than what they were on NASCAR 07. All the EA games I've played up to this point on this TV, same TV too, 04 through now 08. I'd probably say the graphics on the numbers specifically on the leaderboard and all that stuff, I feel like it's worse. Might have to change the resolution on my TV or something just to fit this game a little better. JC1424, thanks for tuning in. Game is too easy. I mean, it definitely feels that way. I feel like it's a lot easier for me to block and hold on to the lead. Especially when things are strung out. We had that giant group of cars, and Biffle had a couple of good runs. Got to my outside the one time. We had a little bit of contact, and that was the reason why he probably didn't take the lead. But this Busch race isn't going to be as easy as what the truck race was yesterday. We are going to have to compete for it. In the 50s on the lap counter. Thank you for that. So I guess we're not quite halfway. We're getting there. Definitely going to have to pit 2 more times. Tire limit is 4 for these Busch Series races. We'll have those limits through every series. Try to make it a little bit more competitive. Not going to have to worry about that here at Daytona. But maybe some of the longer mile-and-a-half tracks. Might have to stretch it at times, depending on how cautions lay out. Yeah, I'm getting quite a bit of snow out on the ground. Do some more shoveling this morning. It's hard telling exactly how many inches there are out there between the few snowstorms, but there's a few. Ryan Keenan, thanks for tuning in. Well, the next question is how easy is this game at every track? Is this just going to be a Daytona thing? Because I didn't think our records on NASCAR 07 were going to be anywhere near breakable for the Cup Series with winning 21 races. Leading the most laps in a single season, best average finish in a single season. I will say, though, we didn't get the top 10 record. Jeff Gordon and Darrell Waltrip, 30 top 10s, most ever in the modern era. We had 28, so there's still a record to be broken there. We did have more top 5s than they did. Passing a lap car on the outside. Very damaged race car. No hood, no front bumper. Deck lid's up off of the actual back bumper of the car itself. Now he's starting to slow some cars down back there. That's the second time we passed him. Broke up this lead pack just a bit. 12 inches in St. Peters, Missouri. Yeah, I didn't get that much. Even some places more south in Ohio from where I'm at had a lot more snow. A couple hours south of me had stuff like that too, but I was on the more northern end of that snowstorm. Didn't see quite as much. Lincoln Kim Hollingsworth also thanks for tuning in. I didn't see you in the chat till just now. Oh, Ken's a DNF'd. I didn't even see that. David Stremmy's off track in the lap car, fantasy car, excuse me, of Rogers. They're all out. Last lap was a 50.424. 48.255, again, is the fastest lap of the race. Now we're only about 3 laps away from the halfway mark. 2-car tango at the front of the field with Truex and Biffle. Ryan Berwick, thank you for tuning in tonight. And the teens. I think yesterday felt a little colder outside when I was shoveling compared to today. Also wasn't out there as long as what it was because I had a lot of salt that was on the sidewalk, so a lot of it did melt quite a bit. But Definitely going to have to leave for work a little earlier in case that drifts overnight, because it is pretty windy out there. I'll be up late watching Raw, so might be going in on a few hours sleep. I'm ready for that Monday Night Raw. I'm excited for Raw on Netflix. I'm optimistic to see how it's going to be. Apparently there's no runtime, which I just found out today. I don't know how long that's been out for news-wise, but they can go as long as they want. Apparently in an interview where Triple H was asked about it, obviously with him running WWE now, they're asking about the runtime, and he said if it's 42 minutes, it's 42 minutes. If it's, 2.5 hours, it's 2.5 hours. We'll use however long we'll need to make a good show. Said it's obviously not going to be 42 minutes, but the grand scheme of things, you can see a 2-hour show here and there if they don't have a lot. Some shows might be 3.5 hours. Tonight's probably going to be closer to that 3.5 hour mark just because it's the first one. They have a lot of stuff planned, but there might be some duller points during the year where there isn't as much going on. That's great in WWE storyline-wise, so it might only be about a 2-hour show certain nights. I'm all for it. I like that change of pace. 2-hour shows definitely fly by, and they can leave a little to be desired and want you wanting more. So there is a time and place, I feel like, for longer shows. But I hate that the idea of having a long show every single week. That's just, it's too much. For me, at least. Maybe not everybody's that way, but that's my opinion on it, at least. Biffle's got to have one of the faster cars on the field. There's no other explanation for me as to why we have pulled away from everybody when they reeled us in pretty quick when we were by ourselves. I've watched UFC before. I just haven't gotten into it as much since high school. I hardly know anybody that's towards the top of their divisions and weight classes right now. So we pitted at lap 34. Probably going to be looking at lap 38 to be the next pit stop. I say 38. I meant 68. I might have said 38. That'll be an even 34 lap run. Kind of breaking this draft on the 16th car, and he's not able to reel us in anymore. Obviously, he doesn't have any drafting help behind him either. Get some more spacing out with the rest of the field. Biffle trying to get back in the draft on the bottom of the track. But he may be coming to pit road this time. That may have been why he was running the yellow line rather than the top, and that is exactly why. So Biffle's on his way to pit road. Couple cars down there right now. Still got a bit of a ways until we catch lap traffic in the very tail end of the field. Two-second gap back to whoever would be in second now after Biffle pitted. Fuel lights flashing on us, lap 66. We were leading more this time than what we were in the draft, so we may actually have to come to pit road a little early. Oh boy. That guy was trying to make a block there at the last second. Is that the 21, Harvick? I'm going to go one more lap. So this will be a 33-lap run, 34 laps on the first run. Get sure we get to the bottom entering turn 3. There was one car that was drafting behind us that's a lap down. And on the way to pit road this time for the second stop of the day. It's 4 tires and a full tank of gas. No adjustments yet again. Hope the intermediate short track racing is more competitive than the super speedways. Yeah, I kind of hope so too. Yeah, I noticed Kevin Conway. So J.J. Yaley back out in front for at least a handful of laps until he pits on a slightly different pit strategy from pitting during that first caution than everybody else. He started towards the front of the field. He was in 4th when he had caused that first incident. Only incident still to this point. So I was in 3rd gear for a long time there. We will be the leader when everything cycles through, unless we get caught by whoever's behind us. Looks like Greg Biffle's still going to be in 3rd, and then Kluber is up to 4th. So you got both the 16 cars back-to-back. Roush Fenway Racing running 3rd, 4th, and 5th. So that's going to be interesting if they try to tag team us. Especially with having our teammate just behind them, so we're split apart a bit. It's all DEI and Roush in the front 5. A little too far behind this lap car up here. It's like only 24 cars are on the lead lap. We're 25 seconds off of J.J. Yaley. We'll have more cars back in the lead lap once Yaley pits. It's like maybe the 117 car is just in front of us. I'm not sure where he's at on the leaderboard. $50 laps to go at the line this time by. At the Daytona International Speedway. It is worth noting, once again, we did not take the lead for the first time today until around the first set of pit stops. Entirety of that first run, so we definitely have to keep track position as much as we can. Everybody's going to have to pit one more time. Might have to think about maybe short pitting the final run. Maybe not short pitting, but being one of the first cars on the pit road. Like once we see Biffle pit, I think we have to pit with him. Lancelot, thanks for tuning in. Blocked off by the 117 car into the front straightaway. Trying to get around him. Not going to be able to pass him on the outside. I don't have enough of a push from behind to actually complete this pass. Oh boy. Don't do that. That was me. I clipped him. Getting into the corner. That scared me a little bit, I'm not going to lie. He got wobbly, I got wobbly. It's a bit weird the way the cars wiggle on the straightaways in this game. They were doing that a lot more in the Truck Series yesterday. I almost wonder if that's why they were worse AI-wise for speed. I'd imagine we're going to get caught at some point during this run, just like we did before. Still waiting on Yaley to pit. He pitted at lap 43, coming to lap 44. So he's at about 30 laps he's ran now. Yeah, we don't need any rivals, that's for sure. A lot of reviews, NASCAR 08. Like 90% negative reviews. Oh, jeez. It's still better than NASCAR 21 Ignition, I'll tell you that much. Well, I should probably wait on that. Well, you know what? Actually, I think I can say it's better than NASCAR 21 Ignition. Even though I've only ran Daytona in the Busch and the Truck Series, I've had a better experience at Daytona with this than what I did with NASCAR 21 Ignition. Because in that game, it would kind of glitch at times. And it was as if it would just basically stop your car and then the pack would run you over. None of that glitch in this game, so that's good. Although at the same time, how did that 117 car pull away as far as he did from me? Where did he go? He is gone now. And all of a sudden, starting to see some cars out of the rearview mirror. Fastly approaching Martin Truex Jr. as he leads here at Daytona. The difference between first and second place. J.J. Yaley's actually in second. Or at least he was at the line. I don't think he's actually in second right now. He was probably in second when we crossed the stripe the last time as the leader. Catching another lap car. Going to the outside to get around him. That's that same damaged car we put several laps down already without the hood. Back from that first incident on lap number 9. So our fuel window is probably not going to open up until we get close to 34 laps to go. That's as far as we've been able to run with the truck and the Busch Series here at Daytona. Wonder if that'll be the same for the Cup Series tomorrow as well. We went 33 that last time. Truck race, with it being 250 miles, 100 laps, we went 34, 33, 33, and split it pretty even. Today, it's definitely going to be a 3-stop race with us having to go an extra 20 laps. We can go right around lap 100 before we have to pit. But I doubt I'm going to go that far because I don't want a caution to screw me over. It took us a while to get to the lead. Once we've gotten there, we've been fine. Definitely going to have to make another 4-tire stop on our way to pit road. We still have 2 sets left. Marquise Bartholomew, thanks for tuning in. NASCAR 21 was a complete joke. I 100% agree. At 1.3 second lead. 1.7, excuse me. Giant pack of cars back there, too. They're slowly getting to where Martin Truex Jr. and the number 11 car is. They grow in numbers. I would like to think that's when the interval's really going to start to close. Still hovering around 1.7, 1.8 for now. How long is that going to be for? Nick the Gamer, thanks for tuning in. Played this game. Was it a fun experience for you? I sucked. I thought you were going to say it sucked. Maybe that was the case also. It could have been. But you know what? We're going to stick through it. We're going to tough it out. Because, like I said already, it's not anywhere near as bad as NASCAR 21 Ignition, so as long as I can actually play the game, we're going to play it. Catching this 117 car again, I really don't know how he pulled away from us like he did. It was fun. I was just really bad. All right. Well, in that case, gives me more hope. Just to the inside of the 117. So a little bit of contact there. 2 seconds ahead. Oh, that's not good. That is not good at all. Hang on to it, buddy. I think that's going to slow them down more than it's going to hurt me. Whoops. 40 to go. They grew our lead out by about an extra half a second. And now we don't have any drafting help. I was trying to get around him, and I was trying too hard, obviously. Paul Menard got the second. Roush cars have been broken up a bit. Where did Biffle go? Biffle's back to 8th. So he's starting to fade now. He was in the top 3 for a large portion of this race. Not anymore. A half a second gain on the back straightaway alone here by this second group of cars. They're running 2 and 3 wide back there as they try to run down the leader, Martin Truex Jr. For those of you that are just tuning in, wondering why I'm racing as Truex for this season, you guys voted for me to race as him. Also voted for me to race as Mike Skinner in the Truck Series for that season. You can vote for who you want me to race as for the Cup Series season. We are already in the second round of voting polls, which are open in the community tab. Those polls that are open currently will be open until the end of the night. And then starting tomorrow, we will end up opening the final round poll. So basically all of today's winners will be in the final round poll, which will only be 3 drivers at that time. And when we go to start the stream tomorrow, that's who I'm going to end up racing as for the Cup Series season of NASCAR 08. They're all drivers who I've not raced as. Once we race as a driver in these classic NASCAR games, I can't race as them again. So that's why there were some names that weren't on there from before, like Jimmy Johnson, Mark Martin, Dale Jr., Terry Lee on the list as well. Some of the Busch Series drivers we've raced as Kyle Busch already, Dale Jr., Kevin Harvick, so that's why those guys were not on the Busch Series list of drivers to pick from. Greg Biffle also not in the Cup Series, Dave Blaney, so there was a few. Better Be Smoke, he's still going. Tony Stewart, Harvick's still alive right now. Jeff Gordon's still alive in the polls. A couple of underdogs that are still alive in the polls too. Michael Waltrip, Ricky Rudd. Yeah, lead's fluctuating right around 2 seconds, sometimes 1.8. It's as close as they've been, is about 1.8 seconds off the lead in this run. Halfway out of gas. Everybody, again, will have to pit one more time. We're right at about 36 to go when we cross the stripe this time by. Here at the Daytona International Speedway, just trying to monitor this lead. Lead pack still trying to close. There's a pack of lap cars that we're actually slowly getting to. Definitely not going to catch them before the next pit stop, but maybe after that, there's a chance that they could be a factor before the end of this race. Yeah, I'm not going to potentially sabotage my race by backing up to the leaders. May get eaten alive right away. I'm going to try to lead as many laps as we can, and our goal here is to win the race. And sometimes it's not as entertaining as others. We've had moments of good racing. That entire first run was really competitive. I'm just so much quicker getting up to speed than everybody else when we come out of the pits, and that's why we're able to pull away by so much. Usually I would do that in the earlier games by taking like right sides only and then left sides the next stop, but we have to take 4 tires because we're wearing our tires out over the course of the run. Right rear starting to give way just a little bit right now, for instance, and the left rear will soon follow. Still trying to figure out the black dots. Yeah, I don't know what the difference is between the black dots and the white dots. I really have no idea. Some of them are black, some of them are white. The blue dots are the ones on pit road. That I can easily confirm on the track map, but yeah, I don't know what the black and the white dots are. Is it drivers who have maybe led laps? Like if you've led a lap, is it a black dot? I'm just spitballing. Because we've had several drivers lead today. I'll count the drivers who have led when I see them up on the top of the leaderboard. Obviously, we've led. We're in first. Mike Wallace has not led, but he looks like he's a black dot. Kluver may have led. I don't know. John Wood definitely led. Ambrose led. I don't know about Menard. I think Reagan might have led a lap or two. Biffle's definitely led. That's my best guess. Oh, I'm definitely using a controller. If I was using a wheel, it would definitely be within the camera. It wouldn't be off camera. So after everything actually cycled through pit stop wise, definitely have more than 24 cars on the lead lap now. Top 30 at least on the lead lap. First car one lap down is the 117 car of Taylor, who we passed several laps ago. He's in 36th. If you can find anything online with these black dots, it's killing me. Yeah, I really don't know. Maybe it's just a glitch, where some of them are black and some of them are white. Teammates? The one black dot is me, where the 11 indicator, or icon I should say, the 11 icon on the track map, that's me. There's a black dot that's flashing, that's me. So maybe the other black dots are my teammates. We'd have Dale Jr., Paul Menard. Menard's up in the top 5. I think Dale Jr.'s around 10th or so. I have to look back at the leaderboard again. I'm not able to look up there as frequently as you guys are just because I'm racing. I'm looking up there when I can. Yeah, black dots are probably teammates. Menard is not even in the top 5 anymore, though. Where did Paul Menard go? Menard's back to 8. So maybe it's not him. He's fallen back a bit. He was right around 3rd. Garrett is here, 32. Thanks for tuning in. 1 like away from 20 on the stream. Let's try to get that up to 25 before we get to the end of this thing. We've got 30 laps to go. Be sure to hit that like button if you haven't done so yet. Everybody's going to have to pit one more time. Caution could bunch things up here again, too. We've had 1 yellow today. It was all the way back at lap 9. I really thought we were going to see more than that with debris yellows alone after the fact, but we never got a debris caution. Like I said yesterday, though, I'll take a cakewalk victory because it's not every day we're going to get those. At least I'd assume. Could be wrong with this game. Maybe it'll be a little tougher. Who knows? I certainly don't. Yeah, 51.0 that last lap. Fast lap still that 48.266. Is that a... No, it's a 5. That's 5. We went over this already. I think it's a 5. 48.255 fastest lap. The 5s and the 6s to me look so similar on this game. Maybe not the actual numerical order by way of the car number. I feel like the numbers on the scrolling leaderboard at the top of the screen are a lot easier to read than the digits next to the lap times. Maryland sports enthusiast, thanks for tuning in. How's the race been going? Well, we've dominated. My crew chief hasn't said anything about leading the most laps yet. I'd assume we're going to end up leading the most. JJ Yaley might end up with the second most laps led. It's going to depend exactly how many Biffle led. We didn't lead until lap 34. That was the first lap that we led this entire race. And at first, it was because we stayed out of the pits one lap longer than the leaders that were in front of us at the time. So there were a few of them. Yep, definitely going to have to pit again. We're getting close. We're in our window. We can pit any time and be good on fuel to the end. As soon as I see the second place cars start to pit, I'm going to pit as well, because I don't want to risk of a caution coming out while they're on the lead lap, and I'm not. Well, I guess I would technically be on the lead lap, but I'd have to cycle behind them, because they'd already be on pit road when the caution came out. That would happen here at Daytona with this being a bigger track, 2.5 mile oval. Obviously, in the shorter tracks, that wouldn't be the case. Intermediates, you'd want to run long, but a little different here. But if nobody's pitted up to this point, I'll continue to stay out, just to ensure I'm still going to be on the lead lap. I'd like to think I would be. Finally just clinched the most laps led, 26 laps to go in the race. Our crew chief finally alerted us of that. All right, 59 that last lap, picked up about a 10th from where I was a couple laps prior. So fluctuating around that 59, 51.0. We're definitely faster than the trucks. The trucks in qualifying were in the 53s and 54s. Single car speed in qualifying for me were in the 51s for this Busch race. And I was 19th. I keep saying 17th for some reason, but 19th is where I qualified today. Well, there are definitely some cars that might have been in the 50s, potentially. Still not seeing anybody else on pit road yet. Not that time by. 2.6 second lead for Truex as we approach our final pit stop of the race here at Daytona. Man, if I go for the sweep, it's going to be insane. So we've got 2 races tomorrow. We've got a dual race at Daytona. We've got the Daytona 500. Again, that will all be on the same stream. And we'll start things off at 5:30 p.m. Eastern. I do have to work tomorrow, but the hope is that I can get here early enough to start the stream then. If I do start it about 15 minutes late, it's going to be because I'm still practicing, because I haven't touched the Cup cars on this game yet. I would imagine they're going to handle similar to this with the Busch cars, but in case they don't, that would be any delay to a stream, just to give you a fair warning. So I usually don't get back from work until about 5:15. I don't know if there's going to be car tomorrow races on the season mode or not. We'll just have to find out when we get to the races that they actually ran the car tomorrow in, which would be the short tracks, any track 1 mile or less in length. And then they also used them for a Talladega race in 09 as well. I think it was the fall race at Dega in 2007 that they ended up using the car tomorrow. Maybe it was the spring. No, it definitely wasn't the spring. It was the fall. There's no way for me to change that as far as I know. Maybe I have to go into the settings and change it as the season progresses. So I'll try to find something. I think Bristol would be the first short track race. That was the first car tomorrow race in 07. Oh, I better pit soon before I run out of gas. 22 to go. We got cars entering pit road, leaving pit road. I'm going to go one more lap. There are Car Tomorrow races in season. That's good. I wonder if the gameplay is going to be different with those cars, or if it's just going to drive the same. It's all new to me. Again, Truex will be pitting this time, and we'll have 21 laps to go when we cycle off of pit road. This car's trying to get up to speed here. Got a lift. I caught him in a bad spot. Didn't want to get too far off the bottom. And on to pit road. Probably don't have to take tires here, but I will anyway, just in case we get a caution and a restart. That could slow me down a little bit. I don't know what that was. 100 laps in here at Daytona. They drive the same. All right, well, never mind. I was looking to see if I could change the camera angles while I'm on pit road. I don't think I can. I was trying when I was in practice. I think it's just default. Unless I go into the settings and change it prior to the race. Excuse me, I had a hiccup there. All right. So Yaley's back out in front for now until he hits pit road. Couple of cars that are upcoming. I would imagine they're both a lap down. Yes, they are. Okay, good. Just taking a big gamble, hoping that they were. So Truex getting to speed on the back straightaway currently. Not going to know our interval back to the third place car until we end up eventually in the lead when J.J. Yaley pits. 20 laps to go at Daytona, though, this time by. Good thing this isn't the length of the truck race. Otherwise, Yaley would actually win this thing on pit strategy, but he is not going to. I'd actually argue I'm burning maybe a little bit more fuel today than what I was in the trucks yesterday. I feel like the only reason I went 34 laps at the beginning was because of that caution. 32, 33 the next couple runs. Todd Kluver's in third for now with the other 16 car of Greg Biffle right there behind him. John Woods 5th, Ambrose 6th, Paul Menard 7th, David Reagan in 8th, 9th is Casey Mears in the 24, Mike Wallace is 10th, and then Kevin Harvick 11th. That would be the top 10 behind us, who is in second right now once J.J. Yaley does come to pit road for the final time. Which, again, he will have to pit at some point. How am I streaming on the PS2? I've got an game capture card. Elgato. I can't remember exactly which one it was. I bought it, like, way back when I got this PS2 to stream these classic games, which was 21. Late summer, fall of 21. Black dots are not teammates. Yeah, you're right. Maybe they're lap cars. That probably wouldn't make sense either. Yeah, I don't know. I'm going to chalk it up to it being a game glitch. Why there's white dots versus black dots on the track map. Just less than 20 seconds off the lead from Yaley. Three wide. Bottom of the track. Couple lap cars to the outside. One of them cleared. 107 car next to clear. And he is cleared down the back straightaway. So we got a couple of lap cars between ourselves and the rest of the leaders. $17 laps to go. Yaley's still out on track. Now there's green dots. Maybe those are the teammates. I don't know. It's got to mean something. Maybe. This game's so old, I feel like it'd be hard to find something like that on Reddit or something. Having a couple of cars to draft with is going to help keep our speed up, even though we're in front of them. We can get a decent run as a lead car. We have for a while now. Another car coming out of the pits, bottom of the racetrack. Couldn't tell who that was. So the 16 cars of Kluver and Biffle. Maybe you can't find everything on Google after all. "15 laps remain at the Daytona International Speedway." I don't know exactly what lap Yaley last pitted, but he's definitely not going to be able to go to the end. We just pitted at lap 99 ourselves. Yaley stays out again. He's not braking on the front stretch.
The 147 car is coming up quick.
I mean, there are more cars a lap down with where Yaley's at on track compared to us, so I guess if he were to get a caution, he wouldn't restart as far back in the field, so that's probably why he's still staying out. It would help for his strategy. He lost all that track position after wrecking earlier. I just realized Montoya's out of the race, too. He was in the top 10 for a brief time earlier. There's two Ganassi cars out. Stremme in the 41, Montoya in the 42. Yaley's still out there on the track with just less than a 20-second lead over Truex. 13 laps to go at Daytona. I have played NASCAR Thunder 04 on the channel, actually. I did 2 season Let's Plays. Obviously, they only had the Cup Series in that game, so we didn't do the Under Series. But I raced one season as Greg Biffle and one as Terry Labonte. That was the earliest old game we played in channel history. Crew Chief has just told us that J.J. Yaley is coming to pit road. So Yaley's on his way in. At the line, we're going to be the leader. 12 to go. And about a 3-second lead for Martin Truex Jr. in these final 12 laps at Daytona. At this point, he's just hoping it stays green to the finish. Just subscribed. Appreciate that. Yeah, daily NASCAR content on the channel. When the actual NASCAR season starts up, we do live commentary streams every NASCAR race weekend for truck, Xfinity, and Cup races, as well as Cup practice and qualifying. So we got a lot of streams when the season comes into fruition, and we're less than a month away from the Clash at the not at the Coliseum anymore. I got to get used to that. Clash at Bowman Gray Stadium. this year. So we don't do as much video game content during the season, but I still try to do some during the week. On the Monday through Thursdays before the race weekend. Obviously, Speed Week elongates everything, so it's really only Monday, Tuesday for that week, because qualifying for the 500 is that Wednesday night. Battling this 137 car back and forth right now. He's going to get his lap back temporarily, at least. Truck still trying to hold on here. .8 seconds ahead of the lead pack. 10 laps to go. NASCAR Heat 5 on the channel along with Fortnite at the moment. Hey, there you go. Gotta get a start somewhere. It's an interesting combination. I mean, that's the great thing about this. You can do whatever you like doing. Use this lap car to get in front of the last one. Now he's starting to pull us. It's holding us tightly down to that yellow line on the bottom of the racetrack. Glad these guys are giving me a lot of room, at least, off the exit of the corner. I feel like they crowd you a lot more off the exit of the corner in the older EA games prior to NASCAR 08. Lead is still around 2.7 seconds. Seven to go. This rate, we're just hoping it stays green to the finish. John Wood's now the second place car. He's gotten in front of the 16s of Cleaver and Biffle. Mike Wallace is now in the top 5 to 7th, or in the 7 car up to 5th. Menard, Reagan, Hamlin, Boyer rounding out the top 10. Dale Jr. just outside of it. Of course, one of our teammates. Ambrose, who was leading real early in the race. That very first run led a bunch of laps. He's outside the top 10, currently in 13th. Six to go at the line. I can faintly see those cars behind us that are in that lead pack right as they get off of turn 2. Kind of hard to tell exactly where they're at, middle of the back straightaway. But I do see them back there. So they're definitely within sight. Just haven't been able to get much closer than 2.6, 2.7 seconds during this run. Ever since leaving pit road at lap 100. 5 more laps for Martin Truex Jr. So Truex 4 more laps away from his first... I was going to say first ever super speedway win. I keep forgetting we are in the Busch Series. This will be the 3rd career win at Daytona in the Busch Series specifically for Martin Truex Jr. Still yet to win the Daytona 500. And his 2 wins were back in these DEI or Chance 2 Motorsport days in the 8 car during his championship winning time and runs back in this series. So maybe fitting that we win this race and win the championship as well. Potentially with Truex. 35 races, season-long points format. Just like the Truck Series, only that season is 25 instead of 35 races. Right rear wearing out a little bit at this point in the run. We're still good. 3-second lead. We pulled the lap cars that were behind us. I think they ran side by side for a little bit and started to slow each other up. Two to go this time by. Two to go. We'll be 2 for 2 in speed weeks. 2 down, 2 to go. We've got the duel and the Daytona 500 both tomorrow. And again, 5:30 p.m. Eastern, we're looking at starting that stream. Lap and a half to go on the back straightaway. I still love these older EA games too, because you get to see all the grandstands on the back straightaway. Cool stuff. Nostalgia. I wish those seats still existed. They'd sell. They sold before. Although they did add seats onto the front stretch. So there's more on the front stretch than what there would be, like right now, for instance. Now, did they actually tear those back straightaway seats down to add on to the front stretch? Like, are those the same bleachers or just completely different? Is that I don't know of. That's what they did? Well, that makes sense then. Still miss them. A lot goes on down the back straightaway. Checker flag waves on the final lap. 3-second margin of victory. Mark Truex Jr. is a winner at Daytona in the NASCAR Busch Series. 3rd time of his career. Looks like Todd Kluver ended up finishing in 2nd. And we get to do the old burnout in the grass yet again here at Daytona. Right in the middle of that Daytona logo. They just repainted it from last night's truck race, so now they're going to have to repaint it before the 500 a 3rd time. Sorry to the grounds crew. It's a big time win. Anytime you win at Daytona, it's big time. Doesn't matter what series it is. Alright, 63 laps led in the race, most. We led over half. There was 120 laps total. 3.1 second margin of victory. 166.11 mile per hour average race speed. 18 lead changes, only 1 caution back on lap 9. 1 hour, 48 minutes, and 21 seconds total time on the race. Todd Cleaver, who ended up finishing 2nd, led 3 laps. Biffle led 4, finishing 3rd. John Wood in 4th, finished with 9 laps led. He started on the pole. Mike Wallace ended up 5th, no laps led for him, so highest in the leaderboard of those that didn't lead. Casey Mears in 6th, one of our teammates, Paul Menard, 7th. He was drafting with us in 2nd there for a while earlier in the race. David Reagan finished 8th, Denny Hamlin 9th, Clint Boyer 10th. So you had 3 Roush cars there in the top 8. Our other teammate, Dale Earnhardt Jr., finished 11th, though he started dead last. So he did a great job driving through the field with only that one early caution. Again, back on lap 9. Kevin Harvick led for 3 laps today. 12 laps led for Marcus Ambrose. He started 3rd, finished in 14th. 26 laps led for J.J. Yaley on that alternating pit strategy, and that was mainly due to the wreck he had early in the race. He did lead before that wreck, too, so that wasn't the only reason he led. But I believe he ended up with the second most laps led. Again, we had 63. He had 26. Total of 30 drivers finishing on the lead lap. And we had quite a few DNFs in this race. D. Rogers, fantasy driver, David Stremme, Matt Kenseth, Kevin Conway, Juan Pablo Montoya, W. Clark, another fantasy driver, and Casey Kane with 5 laps to go, blew an engine. So 7 DNFs today. I believe we had only 3 of them in the truck race, which was only 20 laps shorter than this race today. I would not be shocked if we had anybody DNF following the crash that we ended up seeing back on lap 9. It was the big one. So although we only had 1 caution, it was the big one. Took out about half the field as far as fast cars. Maybe that broke the pack up a little bit more also. So California Speedway will be the second race of the Truck and Busch Series season. Same for the Cup Series when we do get there as well. So we'll probably end up running the Truck race then on Wednesday. Truck Wednesday. Then we'll probably run this Busch Series race. Then Thursday, Friday, we'll have the Cup Series at California. So we'll just kind of go in order. So got the win here today. I will take it 2 for 2. Try to go 3 for 3 and 4 for 4 tomorrow. Try to get the dual win and the Daytona 500 win. Interested to see where we start the dual race. That will only be 60 laps. The 500 obviously will be 200 laps, 500 miles. And can't wait for it. Don't know who I'm driving as yet. You guys get to pick down in the chat. Be sure to go to the community tab if you haven't voted for who you want me to race as for NASCAR 08. Obviously, if you missed the first round voting yesterday, we have narrowed it down now to 10 drivers through 3 different polls. We'll have 1 poll tomorrow that will be uploaded tomorrow morning sometime based off of the winners from tonight's polls. So be sure to vote. Don't want to miss your opportunity to see who I will race as. And obviously, you guys are the voice of who I'm going to race as. Be sure to hit the like button if you haven't done so on the stream yet. Subscribe for more daily NASCAR content. I will see you tomorrow, 5:30 p.m. Eastern, for the Gatorade Dual Daytona 500 on NASCAR 08. Have a good rest of your Monday, everybody.